Do you regret what you did?
Completely.
You regret what you did?
I would kill me, and I have told them everything that I did, and I have agreed to not fight it.
Welcome or welcome back, and thanks for being here. I'm Cassie, and this is A Wicked World. The story I have for you today is about a mother and her little girl who were both killed by the same mentally unstable man. But they were killed in completely different locations from one another. And the man's motive for his crimes was even crazier than it first appeared. This is the story of Callie Jo and Erin Brunett. Callie Jo Brunett was born on October 8, 1988, in Lauranja, Louisiana, to her parents, Tommy and Debbie Brunett. She had graduated from Lauranja High School, where she'd been a member of the flag team. She also attended Hammond Technical School for barbering and medical technology. Callie loved being a country girl, going to Old Farmer's Day, and just being in her hometown of Lauranja. She was funny and bubbly and loved being a mom most of all. Callie and her daughters were said to be a couple of peas in a pod, and her daughters looked up to her and loved her so much. When Callie was just shy of her 29th birthday in 2017, she gave birth to her first daughter, Callie Brunett. Then 3 years later, on October 28, 2019, her daughter Erin Nicole Brunett was born in Covington, Louisiana. Erin was a little fireball for her young age. She could be what her family called a little spicy at times, and she always had a sassy comeback for anyone trying to tease her. Erin was also said to be so sweet and full of life, just starting to become her own person. She had a very special bond with her sister, Callie, and always wanted to do everything her big sister was doing. Erin loved and looked up to her mother, and also had a beloved stuffed elephant that never left her side named Ellie. On the morning of June 13, 2024, around 8 a.m., Tommy would go out to his daughter Callie's home after he and his wife Debbie hadn't heard from her in 2 days. They had also reported Callie as missing at this point. When Tommy walked into the trailer home, he would find his daughter Callie's body lying in her bedroom. There was blood everywhere, and she had multiple stab wounds to her head, neck, chest, and back. But her young daughters were nowhere to be seen, and their grandfather immediately called 911. The last time that Callie's family had spoken to her was 2 nights prior, and she had been taking the trash out to the curb, but nothing seemed unusual at all. That night, after her father Tommy noticed that her car never returned back home and he couldn't get a hold of his daughter, he had called police and reported her as missing. When investigators arrived on the scene, they searched Callie's home as well as the woods out back, but determined that the girls were not there. They believed that Callie had been killed on the morning of June 12th. And the girls taken. Therefore, the Louisiana State Police issued an Amber Alert for 4-year-old Erin Brunett and 6-year-old Callie Brunett. The thing is, the alert had been requested by state police at 9:21 that morning. But there had been information missing from their application, which delayed the alert from going out by almost 3 hours and didn't go out until 12:28 p.m. Authorities also announced to the public that they were searching for an unknown white male. They called the man armed and dangerous, and believed that he was driving a black 2012 Chrysler 200 that belonged to the girl's mother, Callie, which was also missing from the home. Just hours after the Amber Alert was sent out, police in Jackson, Mississippi, nearly 2 hours away and 120 miles away from Callie's home, located the mother's car as well as apprehended their suspect, 36-year-old Daniel Callahan. This had come after an undercover officer noticed Daniel checking houses in the area, so he had gone to investigate. Once the officer approached Daniel, he tried to flee, but was eventually caught and arrested. After being placed into custody, Daniel would guide officers towards Callie's car, where 6-year-old Callie would be found. She was injured, but still very much alive, and she was taken to a nearby hospital where she recovered. Daniel then showed officers to a wooded area near the vehicle on Boozier Drive. Here, 4-year-old Erin's body was discovered, lying on the ground. Though her official cause of death has not been released, the police chief said that it was likely asphyxiation or strangulation. It appeared that the little girl had been killed once Daniel realized that police were tracking him to Jackson.
Upon a search of the area by Jackson police officers, they located a deceased child in the woods. We suspect that to be one of the children that he had in his possession, that he had illegally taken away from Tangible Hope Parish in Louisiana. One of the child, the 6-year-old, my understanding, has been taken to the hospital to receive treatment, but my understanding the 4-year-old is deceased.
On the scene, there were also indications of what authorities believed might be that of human trafficking. This included small animal cages and small wire enclosures. Daniel Callahan would end up being charged with first-degree murder, kidnapping, and armed robbery in connection to Callie's murder. He is also charged with capital murder and sexual battery in Mississippi for Erin's murder. Then, a 32-year-old woman named Victoria Cox, who is said to have also been Daniel's girlfriend at the time, was arrested as well. She was arrested on charges of capital murder and sexual battery in the children's cases. She surrendered to U.S. Marshals at a hotel in South Jackson the morning after Daniel's arrest. Then, she was disgustingly seen smiling as she was being prepped for transport to jail. Shortly after Daniel's arrest, he would tell reporters that he had indeed killed Erin, and at the time, he was sober and only taking his Lexapro. When he was asked about the motive for his heinous crimes, he just slightly dropped his head and said that he had no reason.
Mr. Callahan, do you got anything to say?
I would like to
Erin Brunett.
Unfortunately, on Lexapro, sober, no drugs in my system, I did.
Why?
Why did you kill the 3-year-old girl?
I have no reason for what I did. All I know is I want to say I was sober and only on Lexapro and off Lexapro, and I'm also diagnosed borderline with the multiple personality disorder, and I have not got to come to a lawyer, and I'm on suicide watch, but I'm not suicidal. But I think it was the side effects of the Lexapro.
Did you kill her mom?
His mom.
Erin's mom.
I'm at Rankin County Jail if y'all would like an interview.
Do you regret what you did?
Completely.
You regret what you did?
I would kill me, and I have told them everything that I did, and I have agreed to not fight it, speedy trial, and whatever it is.
You hope for the death penalty?
For what I did, lethal injection is the easiest thing for me.
Are you pretending to be crazy?
Oh, I'm not pretending to be crazy. Look me up in Region 8, borderline multiple personality disorder. You better look it up.
So you have no...
Be crazy. I'm certified. I was only out of nut house 2 weeks now.
During Daniel's interrogation with detectives, he would say that he'd been thinking about the murders for a while. After he'd killed Callie, Daniel had taken the girls and was later seen at a McDonald's in Macomb, Mississippi, trying to change a tire on Callie's car that he'd stolen. This was a full day before the girls had been reported as missing. Daniel claimed that he decided to kill Erin, but keep her sister alive and use her as a, quote, sex slave. He also implicated his girlfriend Victoria Cox as helping him with his crimes. According to court documents, Victoria either killed or encouraged Daniel to kill Erin and kidnap and SA her sister. A public defender representing Victoria argued that the last time his client had seen the girls, they were alive. He said that Daniel had just picked up Victoria on his way to Jackson, and she had no information about the children. But apparently Victoria Cox had lived on the same street as Callie and the 2 girls. Less than a mile away from them, in fact. But prior to the murders, the only thing that Victoria had ever been in trouble with the law for was shoplifting. Daniel Callahan, on the other hand, had a long criminal history, and interestingly enough, he had dated Callie about 13 years prior, on and off. Since 2008, he had been arrested 8 times. His charges range from various felony crimes, such as burglary, theft, aggravated battery, simple burglary, and assault. In 2009, Daniel pled guilty to felony simple burglary and was sentenced to 12 years in jail, but those years were suspended. as long as he followed his probation. However, in 2014, he violated these terms and was ordered to serve 5 years of his original sentence, as well as receive drug rehabilitation while he was serving that time. Following Callie and Erin's murders, Daniel's sister, Dixie Hemphill, who has a different father than Daniel, spoke publicly. And she said that she had received messages off of Callie's Facebook account on June 12th. They weren't from Callie herself. Rather, they were from Dixie's brother, Daniel. He had called Dixie 13 times from Callie's messenger. He also left her several voicemails saying that he needed to speak with her because he had an emergency. Daniel then asked her for money and told her to call him, not text him. Dixie had called police in Louisiana immediately concerning her brother's possible involvement. Daniel's sister would also say that she was not surprised by her brother's actions, and that she and her family had tried to warn authorities in the past. Dixie stated, "If they would have listened to us 2 years ago here in Lincoln County, I tried every day for the past 2 years, and I have proof. I tried." She said that she believes Daniel's criminal behavior stemmed from their mother's abuse. She also believes that Daniel would have slept just fine knowing what he did to Callie and her daughters. This is because he likely thought that he was going to get away with it. Dixie said that Daniel was and always had been a master manipulator. Apparently, Daniel also once confessed to his sister that he had molested a minor and that he took part in the death of a missing man. But when she had reported these confessions to police at the time, Dixie said she wasn't taken seriously.
I'm so angry at him. Where was the remorse? I will keep saying this. Where was the remorse in his interview? Where did y'all see remorse at? Did you see any remorse or did you only see excuses? That's what his play is. That's what he does when he gets caught.
And she says she's heard those excuses before.
I've heard him talk about the ways he can get away with stuff. So is my other sister. We've heard, other people has. We've heard his mastermind plans, how medicine has a side effect that you can blame it on to get away with stuff.
Hemphill confirmed her brother was molested as a child and addicted to drugs.
Did your brother do meth?
Absolutely.
Did that change his behavior?
The thing is, as long as Daniel had meth, as long as he had drugs, he was okay. Without them, he is not okay. I don't think he should die. You know why I think he shouldn't die? It ain't that I don't think he doesn't deserve. I think he should rot in prison. I think he should literally get what he's been asking for. He shouldn't be able to ever hurt another human life, not a grown-up, not a child, not nobody, because he will.
Also, according to Daniel's sister, he had recently been living in a tent on Callie's property, but she believes that he snapped when Callie asked him to leave. On top of all that, Daniel's own father had been a murderer himself. His name was Kelly Wayne Drott. Kelly had confessed to killing a woman in 1990, but always claimed that it was just an accident. He then pled guilty to manslaughter and was given a 25-year sentence, but he had escaped while he was in jail. He then went on the run with another woman, whom he later shot. During his time on the run, he had kidnapped a teenage girl, then later shot himself when police started to move in on him. Daniel was just a toddler when all of this had happened, but according to his sister, he aspired to be just like his father. Daniel had even written a book in which he said he was going to succeed his dad. According to the Lincoln County Sheriff's Department, they did not ignore Daniel's sister's warnings. They said that they had investigated the case of sexual battery against him, but the grand jury never indicted him because there was not enough evidence. Though as far as I know, they didn't comment on the allegations of Daniel having participated in the murder of a missing man. A neighbor that lived in a trailer near Daniel would say that his behavior was often erratic and he terrorized the neighborhood. He was also often using a swing blade to cut his grass. Others that lived near Daniel would say that he was known for shouting threats. Neighbor James Allemond said, "He wanted to go find a way to be locked up. He always wanted to be locked up. That's all he ever talked about, locked up, locked up. He is getting tired of life, that's all he tells me. He got tired of life." 2 days prior to the murders, the house of one of Daniel's neighbors caught on fire. And most in the neighborhood believed that he was responsible for it, as he had access to the house to take care of the cats. Also, just days before Callie and Erin's murders, Daniel was caught on surveillance video. He's naked, wearing only a leather apron across his backside, and is seen breaking into a nearby property. He ended up taking from the home a crossbow, a machete, and a hatchet set. He also stole some fuel, dressings, knives, a blanket, and some other random stuff. Daniel had been caught entering the property on camera several times over the course of a few days, while the owner wasn't home. A Mississippi judge has set Victoria Cox's trial date for March 24, 2025. No word on when Daniel's is yet. However, if he's convicted, he is possibly facing the death penalty. So I have a feeling that he will change his mind prior to any trial happening, and he'll take a plea deal if offered one. A GoFundMe was launched in order to help support the maternal grandparents who are now raising Erin's surviving 6-year-old sister, Jaylee, in a safe and loving home. Brandy Hosh, Callie's sister, would speak publicly, and she would say, "I hate that they're being remembered as victims of this. Unfortunately, this is probably how they'll be remembered. But they were people. They were important to us, and we just miss them. We love them." Brandy also said about her sister Callie, "She loved crafts, she crocheted, and she made jewelry and stuff. And then she would go to a little local farmer's market and sell it. She was always with her kids, always excited for the next milestone. She really loved them. She was a very trusting person, and just as she was a good mom." Brandy then said about her niece Erin, "Erin was spicy to say the least. She had a great little personality. She loved to make jokes, and just my dad was always picking on her. She would just come right back at them. Sweet, sweet little thing. She was never far from our sister, always wanted to do what her big sister was doing." On Saturday, June 29, 2024, loved ones and members of the Laranger community gathered for a candlelight vigil to remember 35-year-old Callie and 4-year-old Erin Brunett. The vigil was held at Laranger High School, which was the school that Callie had attended when she was younger. The organizer of the event, Sandra Wyatt, described Callie as the sweetest little teenager growing up, who later became a wonderful mom whose children just loved and adored her. A joint funeral would be held for Callie and her daughter Erin on June 20th, 2024, at Harry McNeely & Sons Funeral Home in Hammond, Louisiana. Well, thank you for listening to Callie and Erin's story today. It sounds like Daniel was determined to be just like his father, a murderer. I don't think that killing Callie was the first time that he had ended someone's life, just the first time that he got caught. Which is likely why, according to his sister, he didn't think that he would get caught this time either. But luckily, he did. And now Callie, Erin, and her sister will all get justice. So, if you like true crime and you want to hear it from me, then don't forget to hit that subscribe button below. And turn on your notifications too, so you'll know when I upload a new video, which is at least 3 times every single week. Thanks for watching A Wicked World today. Until next time, take care guys. Bye. Thank you to all the patrons of A Wicked World. Now, there's even more of A Wicked World on Patreon. So check it out at patreon.com/awickedworld or use the Patreon app. You'll have access to exclusive videos each month and more. Any support truly helps to make sure the victims never get forgotten and to highlight the shortcomings of society associated with each case. Do you have a suggestion for a case you'd like to see me cover? If so, send me an email at awickedworldtruecrime@gmail.com.